organization too.
There's a GoFundMe thing that they can mention.
Just Lawrence. Just.
Richard?
All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Thursday, April the 22nd, 2026, and I call this meeting to order. We have an agenda. Any changes, alterations, Denise?
Actually, it's the 23rd today. I apologize, I have a date wrong on there.
Oh, all right.
But no, other than that, there is no alterations.
Okay. Motion to accept our agenda as presented.
So moved, Counselor Snow.
Eric
Second that for you, Richard.
and
Yeah.
Dale. Anyone opposed? It is carried. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Our last meeting was on March the 12th, 2026. Approval for those minutes, or at least putting them on the table.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Brian.
I'll second that.
Brian Rose. Any comments or questions on those minutes? I did have a couple of arrows here. There was to be a letter go out to the Minister of Education and the Premier. Did that go, Denise?
Yes.
Do you have a chance?
Yes, no.
Would you send me a copy of it, please? You put it
Okay.
in the tray. And there was a motion 74 where staff was to prepare a next steps evaluation. And I guess I just wanted to comment on that because there's been a couple of suggestions that we do this or do that with our assets, but I'm just cautioning everybody that we let the process take its step and let staff get a chance to prepare a report and bring it back to council. There was also a direction to staff on the trail committee members that we needed some more members. Did we advertise for that yet, Denise?
No, I don't believe so.
But we did get one member.
Yeah, we are appointing, we're appointing one.
And I'm just wondering, Denise, in protocol here, at one point in the meeting, Councillor Scott vacated his seat and left the council chambers, and that was during the property committee meeting. Should we indicate who took over the chair at that point?
Oh, no, that was specifically for the at council for the discussion of the Lions Ribfest stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he wasn't the chair, you were the chair of the council at the time.
What committee was that in? That was under the property committee, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he vacated his seat at the council meeting for the discussion at council.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll with this one. Okay, that's all I had then, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone opposed? It is carried. No delegations, no petitions. Our next agenda item is number 5, which is our committees. First one out the gate was on March the 24th. And it was the Office and Admin Committee. First, recommendation to council that the Integrity Commissioners report CM 2501 and CM 2503 be received, and further, that these reports be posted to our website.
Motion.
Thanks, Linda.
I'll second that.
And Rose.
And they have already been posted to our website.
Already posted. Good. That was my next question.
And, okay, so, and I'd also like to apologize to Councillor Basalan. In the agenda, I did not check it, thoroughly enough, and I did misspell his name twice in the agenda, and I apologize for that.
I do it all the time, John. Any comments or questions on that motion?
Just that we've been getting quite a few of these integrity board commissioner changes and that. And I'd like it brought to one committee, what we've paid for this council for integrity board commissioner challenges. Because that's taxpayers' dollars, and I think we should have that number.
I do have 2025 number available, but we have not yet been billed anything in 2026. Although I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Down in Niagara, I think it was Niagara, Peninsula. One of the communities down there suggested, and we're trying to put forward $1,000 minimum charge for an action to be brought forward rather than. So there is movement on that. So that because of the cost and the costs coming forward, it might be a consideration of council. At some time.
The ombudsman is frowning heavily on it, although it's not
Definitely.
illegal. They are saying that they do not think that's the right way to go. Now that $1,000 is also reimbursable back to the applicant should the issue be found to have merit. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard, in my opinion, for the guy that's involved to be objecting to spending money because we don't figure it's a legitimate use of taxpayers' money, as Councillor Stevens has mentioned. I will just discount that part of the process. I think we do have to, and I would think our AMO and PHENOM meetings would probably be the best venue for discussing that and getting input and putting it on the political table.
I mean, I understand the purpose of it. Definitely, there are municipalities who have easily, with having held hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of integrity commissioner costs over the past couple of years. So these aren't small costs we're talking about, and it is a legitimate concern, definitely, John.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And yeah, go ahead, Brad.
How many have we had in this term? The last 4 years?
5, I'm thinking 5, maybe 6,
Okay.
yeah.
I hold the record, unfortunately. But I think you and I were both part.
Well, we were the first ones out the gate, eh?
First one right out of the gate.
So we know where it all got started
Go.
then.
Can't believe who started them. Who signed them.
Anyways, I think it's a good idea that we keep tabs on the costs and be able to speak out when the proper term and time comes to do it. Anything further? Anyone opposed? That motion is carried. And we have a recommendation that council donate $150 in kind facility rental for the Providence Bay Hall to the Central Manitoulin Public School Graduation Committee.
Shall make that motion, Richard Dale.
Yeah,
Second one for you.
and John. Comments, questions on that motion? I think they did it last year too, did they not, Denise?
No, because a private individual came forward and paid for it
No,
before.
but I
the
mean, they
request
did
was
have
done.
the function in the Providence Bay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it went well, there was no issues.
Any other comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we have a recommendation that council donate $1,000 to the Angel Bus.
So will Counselor Stevens.
I'll second that.
Derek and Brian. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we need a recommendation that council donate $1,900 in kind facility rental for the Sandfield Hall to the SS School Section Number 1 Merrymakers.
Counselor Stevens will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Derek and Linda. Comments, questions? Yeah,
Yeah, I won't vote against this, but I just would like to make a comment that the three different categories of request for reduction or donation came $350 less than the final statement of request. So this 1,900 was half of what was finally requested, but I found it unusual that the three original requests were $350 less than the final statement.
And the reason for that was because they had not included, I think there was 2 general meetings or something like that on the final request.
right.
I'm sort of like this with Councilor Scott. I would like this looked at again before the next budget. So, I mean, this is good for this term here, but for the next budget, I'd like it reviewed. And look at their accounting too, again.
Did we not request their financials at this time too?
And they did provide it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't recall what you found in it. Did you notice, Brian, where they?
there was
profitable?
some numbers about the hydro and all that. That there was stuff that they don't have to pay for. And it seemed to be an accumulation of in their account, so they come out of it with a bit more money in their account than what they were saying. So I would just like to see the whole thing looked at again at the next for next budget.
Derek?
So we got a community group here that's been putting on events and bringing people to our municipality for years in their strawberry socials and everything else that they do. And I think they do a service to the community, and I really don't see why we would have a problem in supporting a service to this community. Just because they've gotten to be a little bit older and can't handle the things that they used to do, doesn't mean that they're not still trying to put events on and make our community a better place. So I don't have a problem supporting this motion.
Mayor,
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with Brian. I would want to do it for this year and then next year look at it again.
Well, that'll be somebody else's bailiwick, so nothing wrong with saying it. Do it. Any other comment? Brian or John?
In all this, we have different community groups that ask and we support. But if you look at any community group, they should be self-sufficient in their means and ways of raising funds or operating their non-charitable status. So should they be coming to the municipality for a handout or a helping hand? Let's put it that way. I tend to think not. I think that the groups that are within the municipality operate on the premise that there's a certain cost to doing business. And I think though that cost of doing business should be in the organization's plan of attack and or charge for the services that they're asking for money for. And I don't believe it should be the municipality. We're struggling as a municipality to try and recoup costs in operations of our properties and our buildings. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Anyone else? I don't agree with that, to be honest. with
I
you.
don't either.
I don't feel we're in a profit making operation. We're in a service industry. We have groups like this that are providing services, and we should be prepared to support them when needed. I agree with you that if you decide you want to put on an event and the event flops, that you come to the municipality and say, look, we tried to do something for the community, it didn't work, but we need this to pay our bills, and nothing wrong with that. That's poor business, but it is business, and we all know that. But anyways, everybody's entitled to their opinion too. Anything further? Anyone opposed to this motion for $1,900 in kind? It is carried. And we have a recommendation that council accept the donation report to March the 12th, 2026 as presented.
I'm gonna make that.
Linda and Dale. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And a recommendation that council accept the year-to-date expense report for the Office and Administration Committee dated February the 28th, 2026.
I'll make that motion, friends.
Brian
I'll say those.
and Rule. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. Okay, on April the 7th, the Roads Committee had their meeting. And they want to replace an engine. Or that we recommend them that a replacement engine be purchased in the amount of $20,000, inclusive of a 60-day warranty from Detroit Diesel for the 2013 Western Star dump truck.
So moved, Counselor Stevens.
I'll second that.
And Brian, you guys, comments, questions, Brian?
Sort of question that $20,000. To me, that's a little tight for changing an engine that size. I know they quoted that, but was that installation of that, or?
No.
No.
I don't know, no.
It was just
That was
the
the price of
engine
the engine.
itself.
So the price, if I may, that was the price of the engine alone,
Yeah.
plus tax.
Yeah,
The
so what about-
installation part of it
Eh?
is the installation part of it with the shop, with Eric, that we deal with. Anyhow, was another $40,000 to $50,000 in installation charges. And that's removal and replacement.
Yeah.
So that's why that figure is.
So should that be part of it, or does that come under another category?
Whatever the cost of the engine plus the
Plus
installation
labor.
costs
Yeah, it
would
was-
go as part of the capital cost of that unit.
So it'd be more than that then.
More than 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna
probably
be
double. At least.
Cheaper than buying a new truck.
Oh, much, yeah, but I just questioned the 20,000.
But
I
I
just wondered
start
if it should be 40, eh?
I start to get a little bit queasy when you look at the 2013 unit that we're putting thousands of dollars into. So I hope it's a good frame at least.
Yes,
If I may,
Seeing what those trucks do.
that truck is number 3 on the list to be replaced, so we
Yeah,
have 2
so-
trucks before that to go through. So,
So it'll be a long time before it's replaced.
yeah.
But seeing what those trucks do, they run all year. One of the hardest on an engine is snow plowing or pushing like that. I mean, that's hard on the frame of a truck and transmissions and all that, so. I'm just sort of wondering that like 20,000 might be a little light. A lot light, so.
Well, that's good.
Well, we did have a quoted price for 20,000 for the engine that is currently being purchased from Detroit. What we don't have on here is the installation charge, which should be, we should pay it at 40,000. It could go as high as 50, because the inspection of the old engine to try and perceive as to what took place, what happened to it, was part of the investigation that our road superintendent had tried to go forward with, but I think we just basically said, we don't need to know why it broke, we just know that it's broken. And we're gonna spend 20,000 on an engine, and we're gonna spend about 40,000 on labor for what we've got into it already, and what we're going to have into it by the time we put that newer engine into it. So it's a $60,000 bill by the time you're finished with it, is what it is. So I don't know whether that should be in, it's capital expenses, but do we need to notate it?
Do we need to which?
Notate it in our capital, in our
when
company.
Ron gets a quote on, once we get the engine in and know more what needs to be done,
Then it's coming.
it'll come now.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so I mean, we buy it, it sits on the ground until it comes back to council for approval for the
No, it
labor.
won't sit on the ground, it'll get done, but you will be notified of the cost.
Yeah,
at the
And
end, yeah,
yes, at the end.
because it is an hourly rated cost to do the work to it. But
We set up the room,
And we don't wanna put it on the ground anyways, Brian, because we might get another flood.
maybe 10,000.
maybe that's why it won't float away.
Any other comments or questions? Anyone opposed? We're gonna spend at least 20 grand, guys. And we have a recommendation that the contract for the supply of aggregate for the 2026 road maintenance season be awarded to Mike Berry Excavating.
John, I'll give you that motion, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second it, but should it have an amount?
No, because there's different categories and different quantities, and did you want them all listed?
To purchase, like, I just wondered if it should have an amount in it, that's all.
Well, the amount will depend on what the quantity is that we actually get,
In the end,
because
yes,
it's usually
because
by product.
We usually
Yeah.
budget X amount of dollars, so.
we do, and normally when the contract goes out, there's a specific amount that's required. But given, I mean, now we know, given what is going on, we probably will have to order more than we originally stated in our contract, so I think it's best to leave it open.
Yeah, because the individual unit price doesn't change, only the quantity changes.
Do you want me to alter it to include the individual unit prices for it?
I was just posing a question,
Okay.
just,
I wouldn't think
a
it's.
lot of times if we have an expense, we have a number in there, so. Throw it out there.
Who seconded that? I missed. It's good. Any other comments or questions on this motion? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we want council to support the following resolution letter from the town of northeastern Manitoulin and the islands. Whereas the town of northeastern Manitoulin and the islands, like many municipalities, utilizes chip and tar surface treatment on a significant portion of its road network. And whereas town has observed a substantial decrease in the length of time these treated roads remain in acceptable condition. And whereas the quality and durability of the oil used in the surface treatment appears to be a contributing factor. And whereas the Ministry of the Environment amended its regulations several years ago, permitting only lighter grade oils for environmental considerations. And whereas the reduced durability of the lighter grade product has resulted in more frequent resurfacing cycles and has consequently led to increasing maintenance costs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Northeast Manitoulin and the Islands respectfully request that the Minister of the Environment reconsider its decision regarding the lighter grade of oil, taking into account the increased number of applications required, as well as the associated additional time, energy, and financial burden placed on municipalities, or develops a better alternative. And further, that the motion be forwarded to the Minister of the Environment, England, Good Roads, Phenom, MPP Bill Rosenberg, and all other municipalities. And I presume that means municipalities of Ontario. Yep,
Yes.
we should maybe add that.
Okay. Well, this is their motion. This isn't our motion, but I can have that.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Eric.
Recommend.
I think they say what we need to say, and hopefully some of those organizations that it's going to will bring it onto their agenda for discussion in the coming months.
My name is Mayor, every year our roads department maintenance portion gets higher. Because we have to keep on fixing roads that we've just done. I've traveled a lot of the roads in this year flood that we've had. And it's amazing the roads that we did last year and within the last 3 years. And the damage to them is incredible. Our maintenance is gonna be real high again this year. Because the roads are just crumbling. And it's a direct result of this. Look at some of our older roads from 15, 20 years ago. We haven't had to do anything to them, but the new roads that we've been doing in the last 10 years, we have to keep doing and doing and doing. So it's something wrong with the emulsion system. So hopefully they can fix it.
Well, I certainly noticed it in that Crest Road we just did a year ago, and it's all coming to pieces already.
Yeah.
But the red flags up and you're going around it rather than over it.
Now, the section that we did last year as a test on Cranston Road with the skim sand and the double system, it actually held up not bad. There's only one section that has a little problem with it, but it also cost us more money to do that. So I don't know what the actual remedy is here, but either way, it's costing us a lot of money over and above what it used to try to maintain our roads.
I believe our road superintendent is coming back to us with some pricing to exchange the oil and chip to an asphalt.
Yep.
And to give us an idea of what it would cost us to do that.
Yeah.
But I also want to remind council that we did retract on the road budget somewhat in order to balance our this part of our budget for this year. So all of a sudden now, because of the winter, we might be spending more than we anticipated. And I think Councilor Stevens could agree with me on that.
Oh, definitely. I agree with that 100%. And if we have to go to a paving system, like what they've done on a few spots on the highways, that is double to triple the price. So what we used to be able to maintain in a year, we might not be able to maintain even half of that. So to get a product like what we used to have. so.
I think Denise, in most cases, the redos that we had to do within a year or two were within the warranty period, were they not?
Some work.
Somewhere, yes.
Not all
I would have to check with Ron.
of them? Yeah, I'd kind of like to know that because my understanding was that they admitted it was not quality work and that they came in and redid it, so. Anything further? Then anyone opposed to that letter going out? It is carried. And we want council to send a letter of support to provide to M. Young and the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario, which is MTO, regarding parking concerns at 5278 Myra Street in Providence Bay, Ontario.
Make that motion for you.
Well, I've always lived around Providence Bay, but I don't even know where Myra Street is. Which street,
That's the street that Mr. Young lives on.
That's the one, the main street then, part of the highway.
No,
No,
Right beside the fish and chip.
Yep.
where Huron Fish and Chips is,
Oh,
that section, so you turn left at McDermott's Hardware, or what used to be McDermott's Hardware.
well, that's
Now,
highway, that's part of the highway.
It is, it's
Yeah.
duly named.
Yeah, but yeah, it is part of the highway, but that's what it's called,
I'll second that motion, Mr.
which I
Mayor.
think.
Thanks.
Sorry, who made the first motion?
I did.
Okay, thanks.
Brian and John? Any comments or questions on that motion?
I
Any,
can,
oh, sorry.
I can understand his frustration. I've been along that during the summer and you couldn't get a parking spot anywhere, even in the middle of the road at times, so. I can definitely understand his frustration, so.
Anyone opposed to that motion? It is carried. And we need to approve the year-to-date financial report ending March the 31st, 2026. And that is for the Roads Committee.
second. Second.
So Linda and Dale? Comments, questions on that year-to-date report? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And now moving on to our property committee on April the 14th. We need to receive the information from J.L. Richards and Associates Limited regarding the concept design report and proceed with the next steps.
So move, Counselor Stevens.
I'll second for you, Mr. Mayor.
Derek and John. Comments, questions?
Can we have the word garage or whatever put in there? So that people know what they're talking about?
Good point. So concept design report regarding the municipal, what do you call that? The municipal garage, Denise?
Roads.
Rose Garage.
Rose garage.
And property maintenance. Because both offices are held in that.
But there's a word that they use for both of them. What is it?
Works.
Works.
Work. Sure.
Work.
Work garage.
Our works garage, there you go.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
This whole works department, there you go.
Any comments or questions? Anyone opposed? Oh, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's an expensive building.
We're not
Right,
built
yeah,
yet. We're going to get cheaper than that, John.
less expensive.
What? That's just the upper crust. Just the roof.
Sure, Richard, what are you smoking?
One
And
question.
Dale, go ahead.
Denise, do you happen to know, they've come up with a $9.3 million C quote. doesn't include quite a few other things, so it's probably gonna be over 10 million. When it comes out to an RFP, do the contractors bidding on RFP happen to see that Class C quote?
Well, these documents are public, so if they're smart, they would be able to,
Yeah,
just by requesting it, because it is public information.
yeah. I'm just wondering,
Like that's not, it won't be in the RF.
no,
But like I said, these documents, when you look at the actual final report, will be public documents.
right. I'm just
Kind of
wondering.
hard to expect to get an open contract if they know what you're dealing with right off the front.
I'm just wondering what kind of a bias that does when you talk about $9.3 million to contractors. Anyways, just, I know, in my opinion, it'd be over 10 million by the time and then we have to start paying interest on it.
I mean, if you go through and you look at how the Dale Richards has broken down the contract, not contract, but the pricing in itself. That this is a standard form of breakdown all the architects, engineers use. And it reflects back into the industry itself that they would break it down in the same manner, in the same way. In what they would mostly receive as kind of, we'll call it information, Council Scott is looking at. They would break down their costs no differently. And at the end, they at the most would want to know what the budgeted amount is, because it tells you a lot about where you are when you do pricing of this feature and for this value. So I understand the concerns, but this is standard. This is
Part of business.
part of doing business.
Well, I was putting on something I'd want to have my starting point somewhere, and starting point is what the guy's anticipating paying and going from there.
Yep.
Any other comments? Anyone opposed? That motion is carried. And we have asked staff to be directed to proceed with the Wags Trail Committee initiative to present the Wags family history, including the installation of the QR code to Wag Trail signage to enable the public to access a website featuring the Wags family history and related content.
Make that motion.
Dale
I'll second that.
and Brian. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. I might just add that I had the pleasure of having a short minute meeting with the lady that represents that family, who's 105 years old. What's her name? Bex.
Maddie?
Maddie Bex. The other day at the church goes out here. She was still as sharp as a whip. Beautiful lady. Any other thoughts or comments on this motion? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we have a recommendation that the multi-year accessible plan be approved, which was presented to us at that meeting.
By the motion.
Rose. And
I'll second that.
Brian. Comments, questions on that report? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we have a recommendation that the urban windows and doors be awarded the contract for installation of triple pane windows at the municipality of Central Manitoulin Discovery Center at a total price of $34,050 exclusive of HST.
Yeah, so moved, Counselor Steele.
I'll second that.
And Rose. Comments, questions on that process? Anyone opposed? It is carried.
One question, Denise, do you know,
Question period is over.
you jumped too fast. Would there be any chance of, any, efficiency grants out there for, heating in that? Because that is going to improve the efficiency and heating in that building. Would it qualify for anything?
I don't know, I would have to ask staff to look into that.
Did we not get a grant for that, Denise?
No, not that one.
Not that
This is for the Discovery Center.
Yeah, we got one for
Got the
the
grant for
doors and that at the Welcome Center.
Thought we got it further down.
I know there is a bunch of, efficiency grants and that out there now for, energy savings, so maybe something qualified.
Good question. And we have a recommendation that Stephanie Gray be appointed to the Wags Wood Trail Committee. Dale
I'll second that.
and Rose. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? Nobody opposes donated labor. That motion is carried. And we have a recommendation that the Pearson Slow Pitch Tournament 2026 be declared a community festival weekend.
And so moved, Counselor Steele.
Second that.
Derek and Linda.
What was the date on that? June?
June,
Second weekend, I believe.
yeah, so
Second weekend of June.
Can add the date into that motion.
Pardon?
I said I can add the dates in that
Okay.
motion.
Any comments or questions? Anyone opposed? As you probably noted in the paper that we lost a regular baseball player in our community from the Providence Bay area there. Certainly not to go unnoticed because he was quite involved. I remember one time we were having a baseball game here in town, and they asked me to throw the first pitch, and I've never been involved in baseball, but anyways, I did throw the ball, and it went across the streets, whatever it is. Over. And the guy caught it, and he threw it back to me, but I was already walking off the screen when the ball came at me. So, and I happened to look up, and young Rob was probably his young lad that was in there.
Yep.
And he just shook his head at me. Well, that was so much for that one.
now Rob will be missed around the hockey and
Oh,
baseball.
you bet he will, yeah. So, that is that motion, and we need to recommend that the Mindamoya Curling Club be permitted to hold a outside beer garden under the LLBO regulation of the Central Manitoulin Lions Club Pavilion for the duration of the Pearson Slow Pitch Tournament for 2026.
Counselor Stevens will make that motion too.
I'll second it.
And Brian, thank you guys. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. That the property committee ask council that the year-to-date expense report for the property committee dated March the 31st, 26 be approved as presented.
I have a motion.
Rose,
A second, yeah.
Dale, comments, questions?
I may have missed.
Yeah.
I noticed on my copy, that the, labor portion and the, benefit portions were missed off the tally for the month. And normally it is included, but in this case it wasn't. I was just wondering why.
I also noticed something, but I think he replaced my copy. But maybe you can make a note of that.
I'm sorry, I missed it. I was laughing.
There were- there
I
was-
was laughing at Derek and I wasn't paying attention. Derek turned over his page and grimaced at the whole next page. So I
Yeah,
apologize.
on the spreadsheet, it's missing the labor and benefit part of the cost of the month or property.
Oh, for the maintenance, you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it,
yeah,
it wasn't there to bring it over to the total for the month
okay.
on my copy. I don't know about everybody else.
Well,
I really wanna know.
You don't care, you said.
I think that it was missed.
It wasn't.
He did supply me one, but maybe it didn't go any further, so.
Just,
John wants one, obviously. All right, any other comments on that motion? Anyone opposed, as long as we get the totals? Then it is carried. Now, Finance and Economic Development Committee, April the 16th, motions are that the minutes for the March 13th, that doesn't look like March, with C missing.
No.
That March 13, 26, Community Improvement Plan Evaluation Committee be accepted. Ryan, you were there?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
And Rose. So that's the minutes, and then I think there was a motion dealing with what happened at the meeting, and it was that the council are to approve or we want them to approve the CIP application 2026-01 for the Manitoulin Inn for the program 2, which is carpet replacement in the amount of $5,000.
Yeah, so move, Counselor Stevens.
Derek
Second, Dale.
and Dave. As you know, that is a fairly short chunk of our budget, which is $20,000, so committee was of the opinion that we should leave some of it open for future applications, and this is the first go at it. Any other thoughts or comments? Anyone opposed to that? It is carried.
Just as
Sorry.
an update, there was a direction that staff, re-advertised the CIP program. Sarah right now is just revamping the document so they have a more modern look to them. Excuse me. Making them look a little bit fresher, and once we do that, then we will re-advertise, put them back on our website and re-advertise the program.
Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we want council to recommend to council that the permit fee for the Friends of the Mindemoya Whole School, which is FOMOS, in the amount of $7,028.50 be waived.
And this is for the building permit.
I'll make that motion.
So the building permit.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Seconder? Anybody? Linda? Comments, questions? Mr. Stevens?
I know that they're working on the project and they've been collecting money and doing their thing. I have a hard time granting permit fees for half a project. Are there gonna be permit fees on the second half of the project? Like, they're gonna get the first half of the project done. They're gonna get an occupancy permit and be able to open up to the public without finishing the full project. And I think that there's a health and safety concern there. And I'm torn on how I really want to vote on this, because I want to see the whole project done, not done in pieces. And motions having to keep coming back to us for more fees, more fees, more fees. I know that the people that are doing this are passionate about it, but I hate seeing things done in half steps. So I guess that's my comment.
Anything further? Brian?
This is an organization that's taken on, it's a big project. With this part done, I think they'll be able to open up the main floor for rentals, and they also support elderly programs there through, I guess with us, whatever. So that will start off in there. As for seeing the whole project done, it's a lot of money, and a private organization or a small one there may have a hard time getting the grants and all that. They've done well. They've got a good chunk of money. Their plan is to complete the main floor and then open it to the public. I don't have a worry about the other parts, safety and health or whatever, because they know there's other things that have to be done on the other floors. One, the chairlift has to be replaced. They know that. And so they're working in stages. So and they're working with blueprints and drawings and architects and engineers and our building inspector. So they're covering the safety and health. So I don't think there's an issue with them skirting safety. Second thing is, if they do default down the road, that building belongs to us and the property. So we're gonna come out ahead, because any renovations they've done in that building will be up to code. Whether anybody likes it or not, maybe in a year or 2 years down the road, that building will be all renovated and done. And if they default on it, then we end up with a building that's code compliant. Might be small, but it'll be code compliant.
Anyone else?
Yeah. I think we should go back to the original lease agreement. It was an extended one in March of 25. I never thought that open to the public, that requirement, which would be coming up March of 28, meant that it was just a certain stage of the building. I thought when the public was allowed to come in and that building was good to go, then that was the whole building. That was my understanding. And if you go back to the lease agreement, it doesn't talk about stage 1 or 2 or 3. So I have a problem with waiving fees on just part, same as Derek. I might also have some concern about the next set of fees that comes down. We might have 3 more parts of this project. Well, obviously, we waive that, we've set the precedent, we're gonna have to waive that. And then what other expenses might be we asked to waive. In the agreement, it talks about the expenses that they would incur, the ongoing work expenses, contracting expenses, and fees. I think, pretty sure I read fees now. Maybe you can correct me on that, but I think it talked about all the expenses that they were going to have to do on their own. So far they have. They've carried their own expenses. They've had a very sizable donation. We only pay a small portion of liability insurance. I think we should stay with the agreement.
Anyone else?
Just a follow-up on that then, if I may, Mr. Mayor. And that's part of the problem that I have an issue with, is that we're allowing them to have half project. They have come into substantial money, and that's how they can afford half the project. The original agreement was that they were gonna come up with X amount of dollars and do the project. If they can't come up with the rest of the money to finish off the project, how long can that stay like that? And still have an occupancy permit. So I think we're setting a precedent here that I don't really like for the municipality. I wanna see the whole project done, not just a piece of it, and what's the time limit on the rest of it? So I got real issues with this.
I would think that we have to consider what that very point was made at the time we had our building inspector in here. And it had to do with whether it was safe for the use of the rest of the facility, and he made absolutely strong recommendation that he would not approve it if it wasn't, the building permit would not be allowed if it wasn't a safe environment for the people that were there not to be in it. So I don't agree with that one as being a dual reason to refuse them. Well, we have a motion on the floor, unless somebody has something else they want to speak to. I'm going to call a recorded vote so that we can get this one dealt with and move on. So we will start with John. Yea or nay?
Is for giving him the $7,000.
Yes, for granting the waiver.
We'll just pile it on. The,
Sorry, you said yay?
reluctant things.
All right, John is yes. Rose,
No,
Dale,
No,
Linda,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and what's that other guy there beside you, Derek?
I don't know, but he's reluctantly no.
Which way?
Reluctantly, no.
another time.
That's a nasty little piece of.
Where are you going?
There you guys.
There you go.
Well,
Okay.
I have seen those people that are involved in that particular project working very hard, very diligently with very little outside support until they found somebody that had deep pockets and could see the benefit and the purpose of what they were trying to do. And they were prepared to put a big substantial amount of funding into the project to see it come to fruition. And for that reason, I will support it. So it is carried. Thank you, everybody. And we have a recommendation to approve the check register for the month of March 26 in the amount of $1,403,163.72.
I'll make that motion.
Only appropriate that you should do it, Brian.
I had to take a deep breath, but I took it.
Seconder, John. Comments, questions? I think that's a record, is it not, Denise? I don't ever remember seeing one larger than that.
I think it would be close, definitely.
Yes. Adam did mention that it's.
Yeah,
And he said-
there was a couple of really big payments on it, school board.
Yeah,
School boards are always pretty big, and March is the school board month.
and he did say that his hand did not shake at all, right? I don't know.
Anyone opposed? That is carried. And we have a recommendation to approve the year-to-date financial report ending March the 31st, 2026 for the Finance and Economic Development Committee. John
I'll second it.
and Linda. Comments, questions on that report? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we recommend that council permit tipping fees. Permit, what kind of fees are we talking about there, Denise?
That building permit fees and tipping fees
So
being
that's
waived.
building permits in
Yes.
front of that again, okay. Building permit and tipping fees be waived for those affected by the emergency disaster upon proof of loss.
And I will qualify that by saying, and in order to get the free building permit, they must show proof that they're denied an insurance claim. Because normally an insurance company will pay the building permit fee.
So the proof of loss and that they have not other forms of insurance.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, Mr.
Second it.
Derek and Brian. Comments, questions?
Okay, I've been talking to business owners in town that have been affected by the recent flooding. And if nobody's talked to them, I think people need to get out and talk to them. They are seeing a lot of no insurance. Stuff doesn't qualify. Loss of income doesn't qualify. The government programs don't go to businesses. There's gonna be a lot of hurt. I'm almost thinking that maybe we should be having a meeting with the business people that are affected in the municipality and see if we can't go after government agencies to try to find funding. There's gonna be a lot of money lost, a lot of income lost and everything over this.
Small
And
business.
I do think that, you know, this is one way that we're helping by waiving tipping fees and permit fees. But businesses are hurting and so are citizens, so.
We have that underway, do we not, Denise?
We do, the disaster recovery assistance program for Ontarians. Does cover small businesses. But you're right, it does not cover loss of income. But it covers anything that would not be covered by your normal insurance. So the program is not a run around your insurance company. You go to your insurance company first. If your insurance company denies you coverage, then this program then can take effect to assist. It's not meant to replace the insurance.
Well, the business owners that I talk to, they've read down through it and feel that it does not apply to them at all. So, and that's why I say maybe we need to have some sort of a meeting with our business people and that.
Well, the program isn't run through the municipality. We have posted it on our website. We have posted links to the provincial website that does outline the funding. I mean, we're not experts in the program, so I don't know that there's really much questions that they can ask. These questions are better fielded by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, who do run those programs.
So ways out there for them to get the information, and that's the best we.
It's on social
we're
media
just
and our
meant to be-
website.
Just people I've been talking to,
Yeah,
they're losing out. So,
You can always talk to their member of parliament too.
letters are going to other members of parliament. Because, the way this happened with the, water restriction and the flooding, both at the same time, the insurance companies are cutting them off.
anyone else, Rose?
I was gonna say, I would say most insurance companies are not covering flooding at all.
Yeah.
It's not in their plans anymore.
Yeah.
The only part they cover is if you have your septic system backup, that's about it.
And that's the purpose of this
Yeah.
plan that Denise is working with, is to cover whatever the insurance company is. It was not a national, but certainly a regional disaster, and we do have provincial means and ways of looking after that. Anything further? I guess, man.
I think our office is doing a very good job of getting the information that is, they're finding out to the public. But being this is all new to everybody, we just gotta wait for things to roll out. Because it's probably gonna be a long process, and people maybe think right now they're on the short end of the stick, but miracles have happened. And it may involve some political push by our MVP, but we just gotta wait. We can hand out the information we have, but we can't get out ahead of the information. So our staff has gotta do their homework and slowly get it out to the public. So everybody's just gotta relax, and I know it's gonna hurt in short term. but
The program actually can take 120 days even to respond.
Yeah.
So it is a longer timeline. And they have to bring, inspectors in to inspect the damage to see if they're willing to cover this area. So there is a process, but it's a provincial process. It's not a municipal process. And no information flows through the municipality. It's clear on the provincial website that the main thing that public needs to do right now is document everything. And by the time the province catches up, then, maybe they'll hold information sessions or, give the municipality stuff to distribute to the public. I mean, we do have limited information that they've given us, like a slideshow presentation and a website link and all that kind of stuff. But I think they're scrambling a little bit to be able to keep up with all the demands, given the amount of flooding in, northern Ontario, so they're stretched pretty thin right now as well.
So do we have it on our website that let the public know that if you're planning on making any form of claim to this organization, make sure you take
Yeah.
pictures and document.
Yeah, it's right on our social media and our website as to what the public needs to do.
I think we all realize this wasn't just a normal spring flood, that it was very, very detrimental throughout the entire north and probably even places in the south that I'm not aware of. And they're trying to catch up, as Denise says, there's so much backlog with all of the areas that have been affected, so we have to provide the information and hope that people take advantage of it. Anything further? Anyone opposed to this motion? It is carried. Now, we will go on to April the 21st. Gosh, Rose, you weren't very busy. You've only got one motion there. Anyways, we need a recommendation that the year-to-date expense report ending March the 31st, 2026 for the Safety, Security and Health Committee be accepted.
John will give you that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll click on that.
And Rose, thanks, Rose. Comments, questions on that report? Anyone opposed? It is carried. Now, 21st, Office and Admin Committee.
True, the only meeting I've been busy, see?
Yeah. Gosh, you got pages and pages here. Anyways, we need to request that the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing activate the Municipal Disaster Recovery Assistance Program for the flooding emergency in Central Manitoulin.
Just to clarify that this is municipal funding. This is not the public version of the funding. So I mean, that one gets activated if the ministry, the public one gets activated if the ministry feels that enough people are requiring it in this area, and they will activate it based on public demand. This is the municipal portion so that we can gather our expenses and issue our expenses to the ministry for reimbursement.
And you are documenting, aren't you, Denise?
Yes, we are documenting every.
Councillor Stevenson make that motion.
Thanks, Derek
Second deal.
and Dale. Comments, questions?
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Mayor, that Denise, I believe, was that up to 65% of our expenses?
It's up to 75% of our expenses, as long as the expenses are equals 3 or more percent of our tax
That's based.
levy for the year. So for us, that's about 180,000. So when we look at the amount of expenses though, I mean, we haven't even gone through a lot of the road building, the road rebuilding that we will need to bring the roads back up to the condition that they were pre-flood. So that's something that the roads crew is going to have to be working at.
So we're gonna be a couple of months before we even get close to getting it done.
Oh yeah, these things will take time. But there is a long timeline for stuff like this.
Okay, thank you.
We could have another month or two of water descending before we can even inspect our bridges, so
This is a bridge inspection year though, so that'll take.
that's a good thing, but
Yeah.
Anything further? Anyone opposed to this motion? It is carried. And we have bylaw 26-18, which is a bylaw to authorize a vote by mail in the 26th election, and that it be given its 3 readings and be duly passed.
Motion deal.
seconded Councillor Stevens.
Dale and Derek, any comments or questions on that process? Worked good last time, Denise?
It did.
Was it just the last election that we used it, or did we use it in the one before?
No, I think this will be the 3rd time we've used vote by mail.
Any comments? Anyone opposed? Mail by, or election by mail, we do. It is carried. And we need a recommendation that the contract for the provision for the on-call information technology, maintenance and support be awarded to the Nickel City Communications.
I'll make that motion for you. Sure.
Brian
Second.
and Linda. Comments, questions? It's unfortunate that we have to go off the island to provide something as crucial in life as computer technology, but we don't seem to have anybody left to do it. Anyone got a comment? Anyone opposed? It is carried. Oh, Dale, you got another, no, it's not you, it's John that did it this time. The whereas. No, that motion that the Office and Administration Committee recommends to council to support the following motion from the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities. Whereas the Government of Canada and Ontario have announced a joint partnership to invest in housing, enabling infrastructure, and reduce municipal development charges to support housing affordability and supply. And whereas this program provides funding primarily to municipalities that reduce and maintain low development charges. And whereas many municipalities in Northern Ontario do not levy development charges and therefore may not be positioned to benefit from this program in the same manner. And whereas northern municipalities face disproportionately high costs to build and maintain infrastructure, including increased per kilometer costs for water, wastewater, and transportation systems, combined with smaller tax bases and vast geographic areas. And whereas infrastructure investment is required to support housing development, regardless of whether development charges are in place. And whereas without access to comparable funding mechanisms, Northern Ontario municipalities risk being placed at a structural disadvantage in the ability to support housing growth, attract investment, and contribute to provincial and national housing objectives. And whereas Northern Ontario communities are essential contributors to Ontario and Canada's economy and must be supported to grow and thrive. Therefore, be it resolved that the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities calls on the governments of Canada and Ontario to ensure that housing enabling infrastructure programs are applied equitably across all regions, including municipalities that do not levy development charges. And further, be it resolved that both levels of government establish complementary funding mechanisms or program streams to provide comparable support to northern municipalities that are not eligible under development charge reduction frameworks. And further, be it resolved that Phenom distribute this resolution to its member municipalities for endorsement and forward to the Prime Minister of Canada, the Premier of Ontario, the Federal Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities, the Federal Minister of Finance, the Federal Minister of Indigenous Service, the Ontario Minister of Finance, the Ontario Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Ontario Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth, and the Ontario Minister of Transportation for their consideration.
Wow.
Anybody still awake?
My hand is up, Stuber.
Thank you, John.
I'll second with a question.
All right, we'll take your question.
When we get staff reports we get contracts come in, we get Aqua, we get Ministry of Environment. They give us all the research and all the data, pages and pages. We don't put it in a motion. The whereases are research supporting comments. The resolves are part of the motion. And I often wondered why we have to say the whereases in council to get the resolution that they're, the resolution is what they're asking for. The other is just research and information. Anyways, that's just my little beat.
The only reason I would say it would be in there for is kind of a preamble. Waiting in the wings for you to get around to giving the resolution at the very end, just to keep you engaged. But anyway, that's just my thought. Go ahead, John.
It's like boom.
So, I had stated the other day that I was in a conversation pertaining to development charges. And, talking to a builder that was in the know, 85,000 to 150,000 before you even start building. The hope is that this resolution going forward is that for the northern municipalities that don't charge those development fees, which we are one of them, is that maybe some funding might be able to be sought or gone by us to the government to help support local builders and developers to get to the point of doing geared income housing or even just simply housing that we don't have even in Central Manitoulin. So hopefully this gains a little bit of traction down to the powers to be.
Can't hurt. Any other thoughts or comments?
It can't hurt, but one of the problems that we have in this town is we run out of developmental property. We want to have waters and sewers and the whole bit, and then the lots aren't there. They're gone. They're most have been developed on, so unless council comes up with plans on how they're going to expand new territory, a lot of the development doesn't matter.
Yeah, church.
We've got a lot of a big chunk of land there up around the school. We have land going out north of town that is very readily available to water and sewer. And we have a fair chunk of land to the west. So I think we have lots of land that's probably within the scope of tying into our system, even if we have to move towards, and I think we would have to move towards
We don't have land
substations.
to attract developers.
Well,
There's private land up there, but we don't have land to attract developers.
no, as long as we attract the developer and get the owners and the people together, we're not even talking of prime agricultural land, so.
A lot of the land is agriculture. You
Not
can't
prime,
develop.
not prime.
No.
We're
Still takes a
still in-
lot of effort to change agriculture over the developmental in the, because we have it so that people don't want to develop agricultural land. We can't even develop 35 lots on the land without a hassle and 3 years of paperwork, so.
Anyways, we do have a motion to send off this resolution to try and move along the process. Any further comments on the motion? Anybody opposed? It is carried. And we need to support the community living Manitoulin and acknowledging the individuals and staff during May for the month of celebration by flying a community living flag and further acknowledging that this support will advocate for, promote, and facilitate the full participation, inclusion, and citizenship of people with a developmental disability that are a part of our island community.
Make that motion for you.
Thanks, Brian
I can second that one.
and Dale. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we need to accept the donation report to April the 21st, 2026 as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Linda
I'll second that.
and Rose. Comments, questions? Anyone opposed? It is carried. And we need to accept the year-to-date expense report for the Office of Administration Committee dated March the 30th, 2026.
Give you that motion.
Bill? Linda? All right. We will go down to confirming bylaw.
I'll give you that motion.
Thanks, Brian. Seconder, Dale?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? It is carried. And now I just am going to take a quick minute and thank quite publicly the efforts and work of Denise and her entire crew, both inside and outside, who have stepped forward and made this calamity and unusual event palatable and well served in our community. And I have had nothing but good comments. You get the odd one that knows how we should have ran things, but it isn't normal. I have had most people quite thankful and appreciative of the work that staff and volunteers that step forward have produced and would, I'm sure, be ready to produce if needed in the future. We weathered this, I think, marvelously and quite acceptable under the circumstances, and it's entirely because of our good staff and people that have stepped forward to help out in this unfortunate incident. So thanks, everybody.
Do we get to vote on this?
No, that wasn't a statement of motion.
That was not debatable.
One of them non-debatable.
Kyle, motion to, no.
I would definitely pass along your comments to staff.
Now.
And hats off to Sue for her very first event being as soon as she took the job.
Ready.
I'll give you a motion.
Final motion to adjourn, Dale. And Rose. Speech and adjourn. Thanks, everybody. So I guess that'll be it till the end of the month. Is that our last meeting till the end of the month? I guess
It is, the next.
You're gonna have
meeting
one,
isn't until May now.
you're gonna have one emergency meeting on Wednesday, if that's what's.
Only if necessary,
If we need it.
only if we get more information from, Minister of Natural Resources regarding the dam. If it's just a holding pattern, then there's no need for another meeting.
But we will have to have a meeting at some point to declare.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.